Okay. So last week, no demos, no topics. We went over a few issues and PRs. Today, September. Today. Do we have demos? No demos.
Yeah, I would. Sorry, I would like to demo how Oracle Core can be hosted on Ubuntu VPS. So with GitHub Actions.
Okay, so we'll see that soon.
Thank you.
Status. What's the status? Intrude. Orchard one. Nothing. Orchard core. More things. On the 26th. So we saw that. Two branches here. So that's work in progress. So can I filter that? And that. Okay, better. 26. We should have seen that. Yes, so that's 10. 27. Move hint and required to field settings. So this is refactoring. That means all these hints and required properties to the base field settings. Interestingly, I just see that this one removes the hint, but it has not a required property. So now it will have a required property. Interesting.
In that case, the default value should be nullable.
Which is not.
Yeah.
Is it?
No.
Isn't. Doesn't matter much because nothing is using it, but the JSON will have it. Required false. Unless we configure the JSON to just ignore the properties with their default values. This one also. This one also. And the thing I would not want to see is a base class just to have one field. Because this base class is not used for any abstraction. There is no behavior. Everything is applied on the actual field. We just say, oh, dot hint on the actual field. It's not like we have a hint field settings that had some behavior. So there is no point into creating a class for one property. Because saying, oh, this class inherits from that, or this class has that, since we don't use the common abstraction, there is no reason to have a class. So if there are two, maybe. But I hope we won't say, let's create one class without the required, because then there is no. So let's check if the required field is stored in JSON when you save a content item like this now. Okay, so that changes refactoring, will not change anything. fixes an argument, null exception. So null or not null. Script evaluator evaluate async. Let's look at 18 to 88.
Oh, I think I remember. This is a params argument. The last one.
Script evaluator. This one. Evaluate async. Value, context, value. Value, context, value. Oh, wait. Oh. Oh, wait. Params array. So if we pass null, this thing is null. So this is null. This is an argument null exception. Oh, and the union is actually the one. The concat is probably the one returning.
The concat throws an exception because
it's not a null ref
is null.
exception. It's an argument exception because it's an extension.
Because this is an extension method.
So this can't be null. Or we should say if it's null, then don't do anything. But because it's param, we'll get an empty array by default. But then
right,
this code is wrong also. That's why I wanted to look, because why not passing anything is better than passing null in this case. So this
the other one is an expression evaluator. It's a different thing.
Oh, it's a different evaluator. So this is a liquid. Oh, expression evaluator. I see. And this one is a script evaluator. Okay, and this one is fine with that. Expression evaluator.
I think I checked it. I'm not sure, but I think I did.
It's a text encoder, which can be null. Nothing related. Okay, so this one Yeah, it's a bad fix. It's a fix, but I mean, you should just handle the fact that when it's null, it's the same thing as empty and done, because we can accept null. This is fixing the bug here, but we could have fixed the thing like method providers and the null case, and also this one maybe, and just in case. Okay. Good. Let's go back there. jQuery ID. The one we mentioned last week. Update dependency Redis, StackExchange.Redis with new features that we don't use. SearchRequest to search and fix your bug. SearchRequest. Okay, no new class. Oh, you are trying to validate the query by serialize. How does it work? Default query is a string. Elasticsearch query, is it JSON?
Yes, here you provide a JSON and it's validated when you save it.
And this is what you do to validate, right? You
Yeah.
Take the query, you get the byte representation, and then you create a new string and you call initialize a search request. That's a weird API. Request response analyzer. Okay, search request, search. So here this is just to validate this code. This is the same thing. Okay.
The good thing about this change is that now you can query Elastic using other than just text. So if you want to do semantic search against, vectors, then you can using this approach because you can just pass whatever they support.
Search request. It's the same code here. Okay. Okay. Search request. So it's an Elasticsearch type. Magic one. Replace line endings. Replace line endings. I looked at the source code of this one. That was not done to that, but it's still better and faster. Well, in the complex case, I'm not sure here. Okay, so we have that is better. That is better. Just see this one that we are using. We are using replacement text. See, it's usually made to normalize or line-endings. Places on line sequences. So expected. And can initialize them. Okay, we don't care. And it does more than what we check. So you see something. Usually we check CRLF, but it also checks for the sequence, the full sequence, which we would support for sure, but by doing 2 replacements. And we don't support that, which in this case is better. Well, assuming this is what we want to do, and usually this is what we want to do. We want to remove any lines, what types they are. We don't care. Well, because they say like for the, it's not used for replacing API protocol, blah, blah, because protocols exclude mandate the types of things you want to exclude. And this one is just open-ending the list of things that it will remove. And it has a special case with this one. Otherwise, it's this one. And it's checking first if the thing has something to replace, and if not, it will return the thing. So that's good. And this call is using search value, which I believe I've mentioned. So it's an optimized way of searching for nothing. So that's better. And in the case it will have to replace, it even looks for just in case there is just one match. Then it's using a value string builder, which if it fits into the stack, it won't allocate anything to build the string, but just then to create the final string just once. So it is better in any way. All good. Update cypress, update doc packages. Why is that? Correct mapping of all started classes to the respective features. I mean, it was broken, Orchard will not work, right? Started type. Started get type.
If you have a startup which is not inheriting from startup base or implements iStartup,
okay,
it won't recognize the correct feature.
Startup type equals startup base mock. This is something you do.
This is a type that substitutes the startup class if it doesn't inherit from the startup base.
Okay, so it implements the correct thing. Okay.
It's, yeah.
And we already have that property.
Yeah, that's a internal startup type that's actually from the user code. And this just exposes the type internally.
Oh,
to get the correct feature of it.
So what was it doing before? Startup.get.
It was assigning every type to the application feature, to the first extension and feature, instead of the module, which is.
So this thing will return the mock type?
Yes.
The mock
and it
type
needs to return the actual type that comes from the user module. Startup is an iStartup implementation, and if it doesn't inherit from iStartup, it's just creating a startup-based mock.
Yeah, I would have been okay with adding a method in the interface then.
No, this is just an internal type. It doesn't need to be exposed.
But the interface is the thing that says if it's a startup class. So then we have a different behavior for this. So the default behavior could be, just return the type itself.
But this is not required to be exposed. This is an totally internal implementation detail.
Well, iStartup class is an internal thing. I mean, it's just
no, iStartup is public, but this base
really makes sense
type.
for people. Like if it's public, sure, but wouldn't you want to know what is the actual startup type? Let's see here. We are providing a mock. I
don't know. This is just a DI instantiates your class and it gets added to this internal type.
Yeah.
It's not exposed anywhere.
It's very specific, though. But it feels weird. Okay, well. Strap 5.3 updates. Trust Copilot. Ooh. Full. Okay, so now Zoltan is here, so we can do the demo. Your turn.
Yes.
Yes.
I just joined by accident or coincidence.
You can leave then. Milos is about to do a demo.
Looking forward to it.
Okay, so I will begin. Okay, so what this demo will be about is how you can host Oracle Core application on Ubuntu VPS, and VPS is basically a cheap way in which you can host your website online, and it's either ideal for small websites.
We lost you, Milos. Can't hear you.
This is a very simple product that it has one module and the standard CMS web app. So how we can get these files to the server is either by using Visual Studio Publish or by GitHub Actions. So here I have this workflow, and you can see that it will run .NET Publish, and then it will copy it to the server. So there are secrets that you can enter, and this is a user who should have SSH access. And here is the target path. And I will explain later this step too. So here is this is I will log in again. So because the build is taking some time, I already ran this, and I have all the files in this folder, so there are all the files. And first step is to explain what you need to configure before you run this. So you need runtime of .NET, so you can install just the runtime. You don't need SDK because GitHub is building the solution, and also you will need Nginx because we will use that to basically expose the app to the domain. I have here on this machine two users that belong to the group Oracle Core. This is important because deployer will be basically sending files to the server from GitHub. This user is used to log in to GitHub will use this user to log into our server, and service runner is just the user who will run the background service, which I will show that now. Also, one more important thing that I must say is that because in the workflow we need sudo commands, and since we can't enter the password from GitHub Actions, of course, we need to edit sudox file which will give access only to few commands. So I will show that as well. So we need to run this. So as you can see, I defined command that can be run without a password for deployer user. And as you can see, here are commands that can be run. Okay, now when I now I can now move to background service for overhead core. So you need to create these services are background services which will run as long as the server is running. So I have this is what will run in the background. So we set working directory, and then we have this exec start which will run .NET command on this DLL and on this port. This port is important because that will be used in Nginx server block. So the app run on this port, and then Nginx will just expose that to the domain. And here is important thing, I'm using this service runner user to run this. And so that is it for this cast your new site service. And finally, I will go now to Nginx, how you can configure your Nginx block. So Nginx have two folders. One is sites available and one is sites enabled. So you add your file to sites available, and then you need to create a symbolic link to just basically copy that to sites enabled. And I forgot nano command. Okay, so this is a really simple block. As you can see, I'm setting here, this root isn't important in our case, but server name is demo1@dom.com. Then we have this proxy path which uses the port I mentioned, and then it just listens on port 80. Now you can easily configure SSL certificates and use secure port, but for simplicity, I decided to keep this on port 80. And now, before, of course, you have to, once you finish with modifying your Nginx server blocks, you need to restart the service with running sudo service Nginx restart. And now going back to this workflow, as you can see here, I'm using this C8 mode on these two folders. This is because you can see that these two users are belonging to the same group, then service runner can create new folders like app data or something in very root, but it cannot delete or modify what deployer has added to the folder. And then we just stop the cast your new site and start it again. And this is because we need to restart the app to when we deploy new files and stuff, we need to restart the site to basically see the changes. And now I will open the domain which is here, and this is just the setup of overhead core. So And here is that Oracle core site running. I will quickly enable the custom module that I have created. And I have created this basic route just to showcase the module working. So here is. And this module is created because I planned to actually publish the train dress during this presentation, but since builds take some time, I didn't want to waste time with that. So I hope this wasn't too complicated. Or if you have any questions, let me ask, please.
I have questions.
Okay.
Sudo, where is file? You said it's because we need to, for instance, set up .NET.
And sudo because as you can see, we need these 4 sudo commands to run here.
So what are the commands? Okay.
And because if you want to run a sudo from GitHub Actions, it will ask you for a password, and we can't enter password during the. And then
I know. I just want to ask what are the commands that you need to run as sudo to be able to deploy and run Bootstrap. So you mentioned installing .NET, but I assume it's not there, so that's not one.
Yeah, I forgot. You have to. You need the sudo to install, but if you log into the server with your password, then you don't have to. Actually, this username that mirrors that I am logging in, this is actually in the sudo group, so I don't need to define what commands I can run here. I just need to. I can run most of sudo commands with mirrors, but this deployer username is not in sudo group, so that user doesn't have any sudo commands to run, but I have with sudo file, I gave that user just a few commands so it can use so he can run it here. So if I do this, you can see that I can run all commands, but let me just quickly change to the username deployer. I need to enter the password, but I will change this simple password later, so it's not a problem to solve. So password and okay, failed. Okay, I copied the wrong password. So this one. I'm making mistakes here, so and you can see that only this user can only run these commands. So it's just I don't know. Maybe there is a better way to.
No, I'm just wondering which apps you need sudo access for. And do you know why you need all of these? Can you explain?
Yeah, we actually need just for this. Some other of these are some for other sites. So I kept that, but we just need these sudo commands. Like I said, these 2 commands give service runner user to actually be able to write files to this new site folder. So we need that because we need to create app data folder, and and www root should be accessible to service runner. And then these two are just to stop and start the service. So maybe I could write some blog post about this, because maybe it will be easier to explain some things.
What is a -R in chmod?
That's that means that it will apply this to all files and all folders inside.
Okay, -R is recursive.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, recursive.
Okay, so 770 is for read-write permissions. -R is for recursive.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Looks like you could have just done just one -R on the new site and then.
So here is what it means. So I gave this.
Okay. Yeah, to execute. Oh, that's perfect. Sorry, what I was about to say is wrong, because the 770 is execute also, and you don't want to assign it to the www root folder, because that's bad. You just want it on the root folder. Okay, good.
Yeah.
That deserves a comment in the thing, just to say that it's execute, so you don't want to provide execute. Yeah. Well, you are doing it. Sorry. So that's bad. What you're doing is bad.
Yeah, and I'm intentionally not using R here, because I want to give service runner user just ability to create folder inside, to create and write, but not to modify other files. So I mean, everyone should read more about these things, because I'm not very experienced in these security things, but I read a lot about that. So this will be good starting point.
Yeah, the media it's not there, that's fine, but the www root, I will still not grant execute rights on www.
Yeah.
Okay, so these Appleboy, SCP, SSH, these are well-known extensions, actions to deploy. Run.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also the background service that I saw, this based on this
it's a system service. So you are deploying. So who's installing .NET?
.NET is installed here. So.
And then you publish, but on the machine, on the VPS.
It publishes, I don't know, somewhere on GitHub, I guess, and then here it takes all of those files from publish and then copy it to my server.
Yeah, but what I see is that you are doing a framework dependent publish. It's the .NET publish. I don't see here self-contained publish. I just see publish.
Yeah.
Which means on the server you need .NET.
Yeah, you need .NET runtime.
Why don't you then deploy in self-contained, so you don't need to install .NET on the server?
Well, I didn't think about that, to be honest.
And the other advantage is that you won't have to maintain your server version, because then you can just ask your GitHub action to pick up the latest version and redeploy when there is a new version. So you don't have to go to the machine and install a new .NET.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
On Azure, for instance, it's the opposite, because Azure will maintain that and it will update your website, right? But on a VPS like this, you have to. It's better, actually, I think, to self-contained deploy.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point, and I will probably update to create a new workflow with.
Now, can you open the Nginx configuration?
Yeah, sorry. So again.
Because Nginx here is a reverse proxy, right? Because you use Kestrel.
I'm wrong username here. So, what and so. And I'm not. I'm pressing tab to get these suggestions. So here is it.
Okay, so here it's proxy server location proxy path. So you're using your reverse proxy forwarding to localhost 11,000 where your Kestrel server is running in the daemon. And this thing will be slow as my Texas Instrument calculator. Because by default, Nginx uses HTTP 1.0 to communicate in proxy, which means every request will create a new connection. So this is a bad, I'm just saying this is a bad server configuration for Nginx proxy. At least you need to do the proxy HTTP version 1.1 to get performance on that.
Okay, thanks. I really didn't know about that. Because
you should do a benchmark just for fun. Just run do a client load generator to later, right? Just to test, to see how many requests per second you get on the home page from your machine. And then you add one line, which is the proxy HTTP version 1.1, and you do the same request, and you will see how faster it is.
Yeah.
Just to have an idea. And then you update all your .NET applications because it must be slow.
I will do that too. And
do you know where you took this configuration from? Maybe it's on the .NET website still.
Yeah, I think that actually I use these configurations with standard MVC apps, and then I just see that.
Because I think I remember we mentioned that the doc was not up to date and we had to update it, and it has never been updated. Yeah, you see, this one is good. We updated it. Boom.
Yeah, you did. I used it. I use probably configuration from 3.1 .NET because
so this one is better, and also the set headers for the X forwarded, such that the public domain is forwarded for the URL generation. Otherwise, it's not, right? Because we have the middleware that will use the public URL instead of the internal proxy URL. Like you don't want to see 11,000 URLs, you want to see the public one. Okay, good. So you should pick this one. This one is much better.
Yeah, really great to see that. I will definitely update that. And so.
Okay, that's it. That's all my questions. Technical questions. Thank you. Also, I learned about VPS because you mentioned VPS, Ubuntu VPS. I'm like, what? It looks like something well known, and so I googled it, and yes, it's some kind of standard hosting tech that is provided for most of Linux hosters. So
I mean, the point of this presentation was just to show that Oracle Core can be hosted on. Doesn't have to be Azure or some other or services like that. It can be hosted just like PHP apps, for example.
But Azure is still better.
Yeah, I'm not really saying this is just for maybe small sites or hobby projects or something like that. Just that Oracle Core can be hosted that way too. But I'm sure that
Thank you.
Azure is way more powerful than.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Awesome. Other questions for Milos?
Perhaps I missed it, but why are you using Nginx in the first place? You don't want to expose the ports 80 and 443 from Kestrel?
Well, because I'm using more sites on this server, so I can have one. I can use just port 80 because then I can have just one site here.
Oh, okay, I see. Oh, why not multi-tenancy then, by the way?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear well.
Why not multi-tenancy, by the way?
Yeah, with Orchid Core, probably I can do that, but I also have some MVC apps, so.
Oh, okay.
So this server is just you know, like I have a lot of things here, so
Okay.
it's not just Orchid Core on this server. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. That's understandable.
And now there is a native support for Let's Encrypt in Nginx that you don't have in Node.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Thank you as well for great tips. Okay, I will stop sharing the screen.
Yeah. I think I am not very new topics.
There's one PR we talked about last week. I was wondering if you want to briefly just look at the one with the text field patterns.
Oh, you did something. Okay.
We have a PR, yeah. We just
18.5, what?
Don't worry about that because a lot of edit views.
I-type activator, what? I'll try to.
That's something
Okay.
we already have.
That I understand. Okay, you have a pattern that would be liquid. Okay, got it. So text field settings. Pattern. Pattern, this is the enum with all the values that I don't understand what they do, but I'm sure I used to understand it because it's all types. We have editable, generated hidden, and generated disabled. What does it do? Oh, wait, what is that? Oh, new what? New, okay, list item, okay. Editable, generated hidden, generated, okay. Editable means anyone can change the value of the text field.
And that's the default too.
Okay. If you select hidden, then it shows the pattern editor, I assume.
Correct.
But you don't see the field?
Correct.
Wow. And generated disabled
Well,
is like
it allows you to see the value.
Okay, still.
The disabled, you see the value. The hidden, the value is hidden, but it's in the page.
The form, okay. It's like a generated field, like in database, okay. And disabled is you can see what's generated, but you can't change it.
Correct.
So when it's generated, you can never change it. If it's editable, is it still applying the pattern, but you can then change it?
No. Because the pattern is only for generated, not for editable. Editable is just a default behavior.
Okay. Okay. Now you need to create a view model because the settings are not sufficient. You need to have this list. If we don't have a pattern is required if that, okay. So if we say you want that, you want that, you need a pattern. Okay. Then it's a new view model. Okay. So far, all the files, not 18, but it's good. TextField handler, so this is set value from the pattern. Set TextField settings. If it's editable, there is nothing to do. Otherwise, let's evaluate the pattern. Is a content item property. I hope it's documented in HTML, we'll see. But for later, then this create part name. So get type activator for the part name. Get the type of the activator. Field content item. Get. So we get the part of the field, the part from which the field is taken from, and we say, hey, content item, give me your part that is named that thing. But we already have it there, name, get part. Oh, but we get the correct type. So from the property, we say, create me a part of this type. Okay. If it's not, then we.
I don't think this is just a safety net, but I don't think we ever will get the null part here because the coordinator creates a part whenever it initializes that new type.
I'd rather throw an exception and log it than doing some code that we won't understand in 10 months.
Okay.
If you think it's necessary, just try to just catch it and say we should not go there because this code should handle it by itself. It should be from my memory. I think I get type activator on the
no, that wouldn't. What happened is that we see line 75 to 78. We do similar thing in the content item coordinator. Okay. Because whenever we create a new, create a new instance of content item, then we attach all the parts and the fields to it when we initializing. And then we pass it to the handlers. At that point, there's already a type. We just gonna take it. Yeah. But yeah, I'll throw an exception instead. It doesn't hurt, but I'll throw an exception.
Okay, and apply to change the properties. Okay. Then see this thing, type the pattern, beautiful. Already seen, beautiful. Now in the editor, is another one. I see now it's common to all the editors, so we want to handle that everywhere. It's weird, right, to define an editor like CodeMirror, but say, oh, it's generated hidden. That's the point.
It is. I don't think anybody will use this part because if it's generated, it's just use the plain editor. But just in case, we're just hiding it.
It's a guide, okay. Almost feels like the pattern could be an editor. Because why would you pick an editor? Well, unless this makes like for an image, you could say that, oh, I want to generate an image, but it's independent from the editor. Okay, but here it's weird. even more if it's disabled, because if it was enabled, like you say, it's pre-generated, but you can still change it. So here. Disable is a difference. TextField color. And return, okay. I almost expected an else, but if return is a valid thing, then fine. I don't even remember seeing that in Razor page, so your name is good.
Yeah, it exists. We do it all over.
ASP is disabled because it's an input. Okay. I think that's why it implies so many editors. Okay. Why do you need that?
For the editor, because whenever you like you want to add the pattern, the code mirror will like format the tag, the pattern basically to format the pattern itself.
Because now you want to type liquid, and then because you know it's a pattern,
Correct.
so you want to write it into the sense. Okay. I will probably write the command. Don't commit that just to what you need to do. Just and then the editor is now based on code mirror or Monaco or whatever. Monaco or code mirror? I'm confused. So now you're using code mirror? Not Monaco? Ready?
I think so.
Don't we
Or the
think
opposite.
don't we think we use Monaco everywhere or by default instead of code mirror because Monaco is better?
I don't know. This is the same thing we're using in the title part setting, so I just did same exact behavior.
So what people say. I don't remember. But I believe even for all the liquid we use Monaco. Question is what? Yeah, well, no, probably code mirror has a liquid parser, and for Monaco, Mikey is the one who made the. Okay, title bartender is also updated. What did it do? Settings cache. Oh, because we said we could cache the thing. Okay. Just a meeting. Okay, and some tests. Good. I made it to the end. Yeah. Beautiful. Okay, just 1 or 2 comments. I'll let you update what needs to be updated, and then looks good. We'll get the demo next week. Thank you. And good job that we reviewed that today. There is no meeting on Thursday. I'm traveling. I'll be back on Tuesday.
All right.
All right.
If you can just look at the question that I sent you. You don't have to do it now, but when you can on Teams.
On Teams, okay. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
See you next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you next
Bye.
week. Bye bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.